What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. Join us now as we look at this week's edition of Dynamite, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including a huge rematch set at Crown Jewel, more information about rumors on CM Punk returning to WWE, could more AEW wrestlers be WWE bound, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new channel, Wrestlelamia Shorts. As always, we won't recap the show, but just look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good as number 1, MJF equals MVP. And what can we say about MJF that we don't say every week, other than to remind fans that every time he shows up, he's gold. MJF was last night's MVP, providing comedy with his backstage segment with stalker Anthony Bowens and his intense showdown with Tofu Jay White. Number 2, making good use of Edge. Last night's Dynamite didn't do much to capitalize on the momentum for WrestleGene, but it did make a good use of the rated R superstar Adam Copeland. The former Edge showed up backstage for an interesting interaction with the new team of Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega, with a big tease of a future team-up, and then calling out Christian Cage to form their legendary tag team. While an Adam and Christian reunion seems inevitable, AEW is wisely holding off on the reunion, and Cage's not suitable for work response to Copeland asking him to reform their tag team was absolutely brutal and perfect. Number 3, whatever. Orange Cassidy is a man of few words, but he made a big statement when he pointed out he held the International Championship for months yet hasn't received a rematch, whereas Jon Moxley is getting a title rematch after a reign of a few weeks. Freshly squeezed fans know that his laid-back character not only hides a capable wrestler, but someone who's not to be trifled with. It's too early to tell if the OC is looking to turn heel, but his dissatisfaction at the title situation has to have fans wondering what's going on in his mind. Number 4, proper return for Wardlow. Wardlow fans have to be happy to see Mr. Mayhem back, and last night's return match delivered a strong statement about all he brings to the table when AEW lets hkn wrestle. Tony Khan needs to start using Wardlow properly, or it's doubtful he'll want to re-up with AEW when his contract elapses. Number 5, Don Callis family adds power. AEW's resident scumbag manager is beginning to build a fearsome faction. Last night's addition of Powerhouse Hobbs to the Don Callis family should add power to the faction and hopefully give Hobbs, an underutilized star, more TV time. Number 6, timeless Toni Storm might just work. Is Toni Storm one of AEW's best female talents? Well, that's a matter of debate, but what's not a debate is that she's been aimless ever since jumping to AEW. Despite 2 runs as AEW Women's Champion, she hasn't stood out as someone that belongs in the main event. While AEW doesn't need to go hog wild with sports entertainment storylines, wrestlers should be recognizable. Storm's new timeless character might achieve this, and that's as if AEW gives it time to work. Number 8, Samoa Joe is hungry. Last night's Samoa Joe vignette was another example of how Joe doesn't have to scream or shout to get his message across. Joe was seen sitting on a comfortable chair enjoying an adult beverage and cigar when he calmly reminded everyone in AEW of his championship history and that when he's hungry for something, he gets it. Title holders, beware. And Phoenix vs Nick Jackson delivered. Is the International Championship AEW's workhorse title like the WWE's Intercontinental Championship? Well, not really when you consider the high quality matches fans see in most of AEW Championship matches. Nonetheless, Phoenix vs Jackson did a good job maintaining the belt's status as more than a secondary title and one that some of the top promotion stars vie for. That was the good. What about the bad? Number 1, what anniversary? AEW has done a lot in 4 years, but last night's anniversary show didn't feel like anything special. Now, don't get us wrong, it featured some entertaining segments and matches, but Dynamite should have done more than just have wrestlers remind fans that this was the 4-year anniversary. And number 2, Trios title needs better opponents. The Acclaimed are a good choice for AEW Trios champion, as the 6-man format is a good way to capitalize on the group's popularity and give Daddy Ass a less strenuous environment than straight up singles matches, although he's showing he can still go when it's called upon. Unfortunately, AEW needs to establish some viable challengers, or the Trios title is going to turn into an afterthought. Nothing ugly, but Dynamite didn't have a big show feel in terms of it being follow-up to WrestleDream or its 4-year anniversary. AEW dropped the ball again as it's got big competition next Tuesday when it goes up against a high-powered edition of NXT. What do you guys think of Dynamite's 4-year anniversary show? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news. So first story looks at a huge rematch planned for Roman at Crown Jewel. Atop of today's news is a rumor that WWE has a huge rematch in the works for Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel. Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez recently speculated on who Roman Reigns will face at WWE's upcoming Saudi Arabia Super Show, with Meltzer stating, "So it feels like maybe Saudi Arabia is Roman Reigns against John Cena." Meltzer added, "Yeah, I think LA Knight feels right afterwards, going in that direction early and then finally Cody Rhodes or Dwayne Johnson." Meltzer and Alvarez discussed whether Rhodes or The Rock will face Reigns at WrestleMania, with him saying the spot is The Rock if he wants it, the only question being whether he wants to wrestle. While the WWE seem to be setting the table for an LA Knight vs Roman Reigns match, he needs to be careful with how such match is booked to prevent Knight from losing momentum. As for Cena vs Roman, it's certainly the type of high-powered bout that the Saudi Sports Authority appears to like, but the WWE will have to find a way to differentiate this from Cena's last loss to Reigns. Next up, the latest rumors on CM Punk returning to WWE. Now it's time for the follow-up to the buzz surrounding CM Punk's potential return to WWE. As reported yesterday, some fans believe Seth Rollins' promo on 3rd October Raw was a subtle hint that Punk could be returning. Now, Ringside users reporting a lot of WWE fans are talking about CM Punk possibly coming back to the company, especially after that supposed Seth Rollins reference on Raw. We're told that unless something drastic happens, Punk's return isn't in the cards. As always, fans should be skeptical when WWE sources supposedly reveal information given their history of working news sites. Next up, more AEW contracts set to expire. Jade Cargill and Brian Pillman Jr. may not be the only AEW stars to jump to the WWE, as Dave Meltzer is reporting several AEW contracts are expiring at the end of 2023, and the WWE is looking as what's described as key ones. So if AEW needs to figure out who they need and who they don't need, as opposed to what seems to be a policy of maintaining a stacked roster without the space to use it. Who do you think should go from AEW to WWE? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Kevin Nash is not all elite. And one wrestler you won't see in AEW is Kevin Nash. The two-time Hall of Famer recently revealed on his Click This podcast, unless it's 5 or 6 million in a private jet, the only thing that would have got me to AEW, WWE just signed. Next up is Mercedes Money almost ready for an in-ring return. A recent appearance by Mercedes Money has some fans believing she's on a fast track to returning to the ring. Ringside users reporting Mercedes Money underwent surgery for the injury and has since been recuperating. As revealed by her appearance on the recent podcast, Mercedes Money was no longer wearing a medical boot as she looks to be in high spirits. Money's appearance at All In fired up the rumor mill that previously had predicted she was likely candidate to compete at AEW New Japan's second Forbidden Door show, but that's until she suffered an ankle injury. Next up, Sammy Guevara injured. Add Sammy Guevara to the list of AEW wrestlers dealing with injuries. Meltzer reported on the recent edition of the Wrestling Observer Radio that Sammy got a concussion on the pay-per-view is what happened, so he's out until it's a concussion story. Could be next week, could be, who knows, but yeah, he's out. Guevara apparently was hurt during his 6-man tag match at last Sunday's Wrestle Dream. Sammy is the latest AEW wrestler to suffer a concussion, and it may be time for AEW to take a closer look at wrestlers' hard-hitting style. While AEW reportedly issued a series of rules on what can and can't be done in the ring, it may not be enough. And finally, John Cena states WWE has never been better. And last but not least, John Cena has been in the WWE a long time, so how does he think it's doing? Cena discussed this on the bump, saying, "There's never been a better time for WWE than now. With all the things from an administrative and business standpoint that's going in for an influx of talent that we have through the advancements in recruiting process that we have, we're gaining the best. We currently feel the best, and our future is on an upward trajectory. And I say our future because I've always considered myself part of the WWE family. So it's awesome to see. I've had thoughts of like, whatever will they do without me? They will go on and they'll be fine." Some fans and pundits and wrestlers agree that WWE has never been this successful, even during the Attitude Era. However, what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.